Ladies and gentlemen, another story out of Chicago, aka Chirac. And I know people think that I might be being disrespectful by using that terminology, but I'm gonna tell you, I could do so many stories out of Chicago by itself. It is just unreal. And I guess I keep hoping that at some point people will wake up. So let me say this. I really believe that all the violence, all the killing, all the shooting could stop if people in general would just wake the hell up and just decide to stop. I'm not going to use my gun. I'm not going to do anything crazy. It could stop when we want to. And that's what I'm praying for, hoping for, and encouraging people to do. Because I'm going to tell you guys, the attitudes of people have caused this baby to be shot. Have y'all heard about this story? This comes out of Chicago, and that baby's name is Kayden, Kayden, Swann, Swann. That toddler baby was shot in the head for the most senseless reason ever. It is the stupidest thing. And a lot of us have been through road rage. Like, we've gotten upset that things have happened that we didn't want to happen because we've been late. Somebody cut us off. Somebody brake checked us. Whatever it is, it cannot lead to what just happened here. So let me give you guys the details. This toddler was shot in the head in a Lakeshore Drive road rage incident earlier this month. But the positive portion is that this baby is now out of intensive care. So please, let's put a prayer hands up in the chat for that. This baby is out of intensive care and making good progress, and he's at a hospital according to officials. Now, after over 2 weeks of intensive care treatment, the little baby by the name, let me see if I can get that baby's face up on the screen. Let's see here. That beautiful little baby boy right there, Kayden Swann, 22 months old, has been extubated and is breathing on his own. So that is such a positive thing. Y'all see those prayer hands up in the chat? People are wishing such beautiful things for this baby boy. We hope that he survives and thrives, right? Kayden was transferred out of the pediatric intensive care unit and is moving spontaneously and continues to be very responsive to treatment. They said they're thrilled to report that this very good outcome after such serious head injury. He continues on a very positive trajectory, and I expect for him to have a great road of recovery. I'm grateful to the expert surgeons, doctors, nurses, and therapists that provided round-the-clock trauma care to Kayden. Additionally, thankful to our social workers and family services staff for providing support for Kayden's family during this difficult time. Here are the details. Kayden was in a car that was being driven by his grandmother's then boyfriend, Jashawn Brown, who was arrested and charged with felony gun charges later that day. Hashtag, when you date thugs, you date death. Is that not an AFC hashtag? Last time I checked, it was. I'm going to read that again for those who might have missed that. This baby that you see on my screen, that beautiful smiling little boy, was in a car that was driven by grandma's boyfriend. That terminology, grandma's boyfriend, not grandma's husband, grandma's boyfriend. And you would have to ask yourself, where in the world are we in 2021 where grandmas ain't married and they still dating around and they're still dating thugs being a grandmother? Is that not ridiculous? Or am I wrong? Am I being a jerk? You can tell me in the chat if I'm just being mean and unreasonable. But I think that's really weird that you're older than dirt, still dating, and can't find a good man. Like, no, we're going to literally continue to keep putting our children around thugs. Come on, man. Really? And I want y'all to remember, I don't say thug referring to a skin color, because that ain't a skin color. Thug is not a skin color. Thug is an action. It is an action, not a skin color. So the fact that this man was arrested on felony gun charges, meaning he should not have had a gun, meaning he probably did some bull crap that caused him to have a felony, that caused him to not be able to have a gun, which makes him a thug, criminal. You get it? Let's move on. Cook County prosecutors Andrea Williams said Brown was driving Swann's grandmother in the front seat and the boy was in his car seat when the driver of an SUV merging into his lane almost hit his car. Let me say that again. Not hit his car, not clipped his car. No, not that. Almost hit his car. I want y'all to remember that this road rage thing is very stupid and it's illogical. That somebody almost did something and you go do what he just did. Let me explain what he did. Williams described Brown in court as Kayden's grandfather, but later clarified he's not biologically related to this baby. So Brown pulled over and yelled at the driver of the SUV. She said Brown and the unknown man exchanged words. Of course, they was cussing and fussing like fools. And then the other man pulled out a gun and asked Brown what he wanted to do about it while dangling the firearm at the defendant. So in hood terminology, he said, well, what you gonna do, old man? What's happening with it? What you gonna do, fool? And you know what he said? Brown picked up and placed his 9mm gun on his lap and continued driving north on Lakeshore Drive in an attempt to get away from the SUV driver. The SUV driver continued to follow Brown's family and then started busting caps at the vehicle, a white Lincoln sedan, Williams said. One of those bullets, let me see if I can pull up that picture real quick, which is... I want y'all to get a good look at this. That one, right there. One of the bullets shattered the rear window and hit Kayden in his head. I don't know if it was that one, but it looks pretty plausible because that's aimed directly at the back seat. One thing that y'all know about, I'm sorry to say this, I gotta say this. One thing that y'all know about people in Chicago is they can't aim. They just shoot. How are you aiming for the person that's driving the car, but you hit the back seat? Thank you. Somebody said in the chat, another rear window. The rear window. I'm just saying, first of all, you should be shooting, but shouldn't you have good aim if you're going to be shooting? Just saying. Police and Mayor Lori Lightfoot, of course, the awesome Lori Lightfoot out there, the mayor, said it appeared Brown and the other man had been shooting at each other over several blocks. Jesus Christ. Police say at the time they found multiple shell casings between the 900 block and 1100 block of South Lakeshore Drive near Grant Park. So they were just driving and busting caps at each other. After the shooting, Brown crashed into another car near Jackson and Lakeshore Drive before a Good Samaritan drove them to Northwestern Hospital. The baby, Kayden, was transferred to Lurie with a severe brain injury requiring full critical care support. Doctors placed him in a medically induced coma and on a ventilator. While Kayden makes progress at the hospital, police are still searching for the driver of the SUV, and additionally, Kayden's mother started a GoFundMe campaign. Oh my goodness, man. You can't write a novel better than this. They want help with medical expenses. Because why have insurance when you could just open up a GoFundMe, right? Would you guys like to see the GoFundMe? Let me see if I can get that pulled up here real quick. Y'all give me just a moment. And if you guys are listening to the story right now, if you would, do me a favor. We have a thing that we like to call Hug a Child, Click the Like. If y'all want to show some love for these babies, do me a favor and click that like. It'll help share this stream, okay? Let me show you guys something real quick. Let me see if I can just drop. No, I can't do that, but I can do it like this. Show you guys this GoFundMe. Here's the GoFundMe that the mother set up. They are asking for $9,000 in GoFundMe money. Aftercare cost for baby Kayden. Jaleesa Hooks is the organizer, and I'm assuming that's probably the mother because she said, my son is one, almost two, and was shot in the right temple and is fighting for his life in the hospital. Give me $9,000. Don't you think for $9,000 you could at least put some punctuation in there? At least write a proper sentence? At least for $9,000, don't you think you could have gave us a couple of sentences? Maybe put the link to the news page or something? My son is one, almost two, shot in the temple. He fighting for his life. Give me money. I'm going to tell y'all what I believe is silly about this GoFundMe. That's for aftercare. That means you don't even know what the bill is going to be. You have not been billed yet. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? You have not gotten a final bill because the baby is still getting help. Everybody understand? You don't even know what the final bill is going to be. Why don't you just calm down? Everybody's so quick to put up a goddamn GoFundMe. Wait until you get the full bill. Am I asking too much? Does that not make sense? Can you wait for the bill to come out rather than just saying, give me a blind amount of money? Man, look, I guess I'm just pissing in the wind at this point. Nobody understands that. Let me give you guys the fair usage and let me show you guys the news videos. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Somebody in the chat said Illinois child health insurance is free. So is common sense. Let's move on. Common sense is free too. But let's move on.
So following that breaking news here tonight, a 2-year-old boy is fighting for his life after being shot in an apparent road rage incident on Lakeshore Drive. Doctors say the next 24 to 48 hours are going to be critical here.
WGN's Jenna Barnes live at Lurie Children's Hospital with the latest on that boy's condition plus the investigation. Jenna?
Ben and Lourdes, police say they are questioning someone in connection to this shooting. Family tells us this little boy's name is Kayden, and he is in grave condition here. Doctors say the bullet hit his brain.
Anytime we have brain injury, it's very hard to predict exactly what the course will be. But it's a very tenuous situation. It can change hourly.
Dr. Marcelo Malacuti says right now, 2-year-old Kayden is on a ventilator in the pediatric ICU of Lurie Children's Hospital after he was shot in the head during what police describe as an apparent road rage incident on Lakeshore Drive this morning.
We are well prepared to take care of these traumas when they come in. We luckily have an amazing team that unfortunately has to be trained to to deal with these types of situations.
A situation Kayden's family says never should have happened.
It appears that they're completely unknown to each other, and there was a dispute possibly over somebody.
Sorry about that. I just turned the volume up. Sorry if y'all couldn't hear that. I just turned the volume up just a little bit.
Not letting somebody into lane of traffic.
Police say it started at Waldron and Lakeshore Drive near Soldier Field and escalated near Grant Park. Officers say shots were fired for 2 blocks. The car the boy was in crashed near Lakeshore Drive and Monroe, rear-ending another driver who asked us not to show her face.
And she was saying her baby had been shot. And I saw her, I saw the baby, and I tried to get out of the traffic.
Police say a good Samaritan driving this Tesla rushed the little boy and his family to the hospital.
With any type of head injury, time is certainly of the essence.
And doctors say the next day or two will be critical for Kayden's treatment. Officers tell us they found a gun in the car the little boy was in, but they haven't yet determined if it was used during this shooting. We're live at Lurie Children's Hospital. Jenna Barnes, WGN News.
Praying for that child. Thank you.
We want to make sure that justice is being done, that it's served.
A man faces charges in the shooting on Lakeshore Drive this week that left a toddler in critical condition. The person charged was in the car with that young victim.
He appeared in court today. WGN's Mike Lowe live at Lurie Children's Hospital with the latest. Mike.
And good evening to both of you. Here at Lurie Children's Hospital, doctors say that 21-month-old victim is showing small signs of improvement. Meanwhile, the young victim's family is only beginning to start to deal with both the emotional and the legal ramifications.
There are deep concerns and deep breaths for Clifton Marvel.
I'm trying to hold up.
2 days ago, his daughter and her boyfriend, Swann Brown, were driving with 1-year-old Kayden Swann on Lakeshore Drive when a road rage incident led to gunfire and the toddler was shot in the head. Police initially said Brown fired back at a person in an SUV who had fired at his car, but Marvel says it all started with Brown shooting at the SUV.
Him firing the first shot, who initiated this whole thing, if he would have just took a minute, this would have never happened. This guy firing shots, which caused Kayden to be shot in the head.
The boy was saved when another driver passing by the scene of the shooting picked him up and rushed him to Northwestern Memorial Hospital.
The Good Samaritan took the both of them to the hospital.
Police have charged 43-year-old Brown with unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. Kayden Swann is in critical condition at Lurie Children's Hospital. Doctors there say he was on sedatives to reduce brain swelling. In a written statement, the medical director of the pediatric ICU said he is demonstrating some return in brain activity, and we're optimistic about the clinical signs we're seeing. Chicago police say they recovered Brown's gun at Northwestern Hospital.
This man initiated everything. He fired the first shot. He actually tried to run when he was at the hospital. He actually tried to run and get away. My daughter alerted.
Y'all heard that, right? For everybody who might be feeling sad for him, I want y'all to listen.
Hospital.
This man initiated everything. He fired the first shot. He actually tried to run when he was at the hospital. He actually tried to run and get away. My daughter alerted the police to keep him, to hold him.
Today, police also closed down a portion of Lakeshore Drive as they continued to search for evidence. Marvel says he wants Brown to be locked up.
At this point, this is where the violence starts, because the system fails the complainant.
And police say tonight they are still searching for the person who actually shot that young boy. Reporting live tonight outside of Lurie Children's Hospital, Mike Lowe, WGN News.
First of all, this road rage thing is just a stupid thing, and things happen on the road, man. We just need to not overreact. We have to start thinking more than just about ourselves and just learn to let stuff go, man. Life is too precious. Life is too short. We got too much stuff to do in life to accomplish, things to do, places to be, people that need us, for us to lose ourselves in a careless moment and do something as stupid as road rage. Stopping the car, hollering, screaming, cussing people out, flipping people off, shooting at people, following people. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. But let me say this. I'm glad that this baby, again, his name is Kayden Swann. That's his full name. I'm hoping that he makes a recovery. And I really hope that this baby grows up and becomes something great. There was a divine blessing for him to be able to survive. It really is. So let's put a prayer hands up in the chat for that. Let me take this in a different direction. First of all, for grandma to be dating is stupid by itself. What have you done your entire life that you're still dating at grandma ages? That just, I'm sorry. Maybe some of y'all got some family members that are like that. I'm sorry. It just don't sound right. Then on top of that, the fact that this dude illegally had a weapon, which means that he shouldn't have had one. He's done something in a way that did not act in accordance with the law that caused him to not be able to own a gun legally. That's a thug. Not because of his skin color, because of his actions. His actions and overreacting to almost being hit. Almost. When they say almost doesn't count, let me say that again. Almost being hit does not and should not count. And even if you did get hit, you still shouldn't overreact. That's absolutely asinine, and it's unacceptable. To the man that shot that baby, life in prison. Why does he need anything else? One less thug. We can type that in the chat. Maybe that's a new hashtag. Hashtag one less thug. Throw his ass in jail for life. Why does he ever need to be paroled? Because if he do that to these people, he do it to anybody. Last but not least, I want to say this. I want to throw some names out there. Dante Wright, Ahmaud Arbery, Alton Sterling, Walter L. Scott, Rayshard Brooks, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Stephon Clark. Do you guys know those names? You've heard those names before, right? And I'm going to say this. The whole freaking country got up in arms and they got all upset and all worked up, protest and blah, blah, blah. I'm wondering, did you guys hear any outrage, any protest about Kayden Swann? Was there any public outrage? Did the president come out and speak about this? Did the vice president, who was actually in the city at the time, Kamala Harris, y'all Indian/black president, whenever she want to feel like being black, I guess, did she say anything about this while she was in that city? Did she issue a statement? Were there any protests? Were there any marches? Oh, that's right. No, there wasn't. There was no national outrage. They say that we should fear the police, but it seems like it's always us doing this to us. Let me give you guys another set of names. Malia Bass, Malia Davis, Camille Cupcake McKinney, Orrin and Orson West, Paris Bradley, Samantha Bell, Mackenzie Jade, Anaya Day Garrett, Nala Miller. Where are the protests and the outrage and the foundations and the support, the justice for them? Where is that at? Who's going to speak up and show that babies' lives matter? Who's going to keep their names alive? Seems like it's just the AFC, the advocacy where children matter and they matter first. I'm not saying that those other lives don't matter, but what I'm saying is that babies and children's lives should matter just a bit more than grown adults. That is my point. Just a bit more, because they can't speak for themselves. They can't defend themselves against the tyranny that they're forced to go through. And that's just not fair, and it needs to change, and somebody needs to speak up and say something. And I feel like instead of me hoping that somebody does it, I just put myself on the line, my life, my reputation. I put myself on the line for those babies because I think it's worth it. We are the AFC, and we are advocates for children, and we are advocates for children first. I thank all of you guys who listen to us with an open mind and an open heart. We'll put a prayer hands up in the chat for Kayden Swann. We'll put a prayer hands up in the chat. Let me see if I can get his picture up here real quick. Let's skip past those. We'll put a prayer hands up in the chat, and we'll pray that this baby makes an absolutely full recovery. 100%. Kayden Swann, young prince, we are praying for you, okay? Thank you guys so much for listening with an open mind and an open heart. And from my heart to yours, I love all of you guys. Thank y'all so much for supporting this message, being patient with me. And we'll see you guys on the next stream because we do have more work to do. All right? See y'all on the next stream. Peace.